Today we're going to talk about the GOAT macro, protein. You've probably heard that protein is very important to you. Hopefully you've already been paying attention to it and working on increasing your protein intake. I'm going to just give you a short info on why protein is important and what it does. As we've learned, 1 gram of protein equals 4 kilocalories or units of energy. Protein is the building blocks of life. You need it. You need a small amount to survive and then a larger amount to thrive. It is necessary for repairing, maintaining, and building muscles, tissue, and cells. It helps speed recovery from your workouts, your training, illness, injury. It helps with your body composition. Again, really helps with building that lean tissue that you want to have. Helps with longevity, especially for women as we age and go through perimenopause and menopause. Protein intake is so important. We lose muscle, or it's much harder to gain muscle as we all age, and so protein is really important. We want to get it on board as early as possible and maintain that intake. It helps with a strong immune system, performance, a healthy metabolism, and it helps with satiety, your hunger levels. It has the highest TEF, which we talked about, that thermic effect of foods, but actually takes more energy to digest, metabolize, absorb protein. It has the highest effect on satiety, so it is the macro that helps keep you feeling the most full. And it's the hardest to convert to fat. It's also anabolic. If you've been in the gym, maybe you've heard this term, but it helps build things versus break down. The general goals of protein intake for individuals I have is between 0.7 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, ideally, or 1.5 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. The recommendation that you may see on the internet is lower, and that is the amount to survive, not the amount to thrive. So let's talk about how you can prep and plan protein. Prepping and planning is so important. So planning protein sources for the week is going to be really key. Create a list. I highly suggest that you pick like 3 to 5 sources that are going to be your go-tos on a week-to-week basis. Use the protein list that is provided for you, and supplementing with a protein powder or protein bars on occasion is also totally okay. Make it simple for yourself. When you have that list, do your grocery shopping wherever you do it. Make sure that you have things on hand. Use your backups too. Use your freezer. Put things in there that are easy to grab. Use your pantry for things that are easy to grab and things that don't go bad. Use all of the tools that you have. Use your grill, your crock pot, your Instant Pot, your oven, your air fryer. Of course, you can use your stovetop and cook things in a pan or a pot as well. But use all of these tools. Again, make it simple for yourself. I really love batch cooking things. So doing food prep is something that I highly suggest. Meal prep, spending a whole day, sometimes that works, or a couple hours. Sometimes that works really well for people. Sometimes it does not. So one thing that I really suggest is doing food prep. And then you can, so you're batch cooking different foods, different sources of protein, different carb sources, veggies, etc. And then you can throw them together in different combinations that you want to throughout the week. But batch cook things. Do different kinds of prep with the things if you want to. Do things like egg cups. breakfast burritos with eggs, hard-boiled eggs. You can grill chicken. You can have chicken salad, these type of different things. Use seasonings and flavors. Make it taste good. We want this to be something that you enjoy most of the time. Sometimes we have to eat out of utility because we know that protein benefits us in all of the ways that we just talked about. And most of the time, we want that stuff to taste good. Please use your seasonings and flavors. Get pre-cooked options. There's plenty of great options that are pre-packaged, pre-cooked that you could keep in your freezer for days that you don't want to cook. You can grab and throw in your fridge for things that you don't, days that you don't really want to cook, or you want to be able to throw something together pretty easily. Get cooked shrimp, get pre-cooked chicken that's frozen, or some breaded chicken that is maybe lower fat, lower carb. Look on the nutrition labels here. Get those things. Use them. Easy grab and go options. Again, things like, protein bars and protein powders are really awesome. Again, look at the supplement list. These are things that are really easy and great to have on the go. Other things that you can have, things like tuna packets or chicken packets, salmon packets, things like beef jerky or turkey jerky or edamame. These things are really, really easy to grab, really easy to go. And then as an eating out approach, do look at the lesson that is all about eating out. Make sure that there's a protein source. When you go out to eat, try to make it leaner, although we know that doesn't need to be the case all of the time. Just make sure there's a protein source as part of your meal. Some extra tips for boosting protein. Protein can be hard to get in. Sometimes, most of the people I start to work with, their protein intake is way lower than what I want them to get up into, that recommended range. So we build up slowly and we kind of sneak it in different ways. So one tip is just make sure that you have a protein source with each meal that you're eating. Have more of what you're already having. If you're struggling to hit your protein, if you're having 150 grams of egg whites in the morning, add 100 more grams of egg whites to that. If you're having 2 ounces of chicken, have 4 ounces of chicken. We don't need to overcomplicate it. Just add a little bit more of what you're already having. Do some really easy swaps. Instead of sour cream, use Greek yogurt. You can make dressings out of Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. You can make mac and cheese with things like blended cottage cheese. You can use a Kodiak cake pancake mix or add scoop of protein powder into your pancakes. Do some really easy swaps or additions. And then again, you can always add a supplement. So increasing your accuracy and awareness when it comes to your protein intake, tracking your protein, etc. Awareness. That is a lot of things. How do you feel when you eat protein? You feel more full, you have more energy, it helps reduce your sugar cravings, your recovery is a lot better. Take note of how you feel when you're eating enough protein. Create awareness to what portion sizes look like. This helps you to be better at estimating, to gain intuition with yourself, to not need to use a tracking app in the future. Look at what 4 ounces of cooked chicken looks like. Gauge how much egg whites you're using so you can pour it, and make this into a fun game sometimes with your food scale and see if you can guess accurately. You are going to be weighing and measuring your food as much as possible, again, so you can create that awareness and that accuracy we're putting a lot of effort into this right now. So then down the road, you're like, I freaking got this. So be mindful when you're logging food. Are you logging it as cooked versus raw? When you weigh it cooked, log it as cooked. If you weigh it raw, log it as raw. If you're logging protein powder, are you logging one scoop or are you logging the grams of protein that you used or anything else? And then note, hey, if I log 30 grams of protein powder, 30 grams of weight, how much is that in my scoop? So then you can get a better idea. So you can just use the scoop later. If you are logging a burger, don't just log burger. Because what does that mean? Your burger could look like this. It could look like this. There's a really wide range of calories between these two burgers. So instead, break it down. You're going to have, if you have a burger, it's like, this is X amount of grams or X amount of ounces of cooked 80-20 beef, 90-10 beef. And then if you're having burger with the other things on it, log the other things individually. And then again, look at what that is. Gain awareness here. Start to plan out your protein throughout the day. Again, eat protein with each meal. If your goal is 125 grams of protein, it doesn't need to be split up evenly throughout your meals. This is one strategy that you can use. And again, protein is really high satiety to it. It can be really filling. So eating large amounts of it in one sitting, if you're trying to make up for your protein at the end of the day, can be really, really filling on your stomach. So we break it up. That makes it easier. And all the time, just when in doubt, estimate to the best of your ability. As you are tracking and logging, so continuing to log your food, aiming now to get your value goals with your protein. Okay, we're focusing on protein right now. So aiming for your value goal or your minimum value goal at the very least with your protein right now. Continuing to aim to log before you eat. Again, we can't remember these things. Let's make it easier on ourselves, and also it helps us to ensure that we are actually going to hit our protein because we're pre-planning it for ourselves. Logging as accurately as possible with your portions, starting to fine tune what we just talked about, gaining more accuracy with your weighing and your measuring, and creating awareness around those things. Again, planning out your protein throughout the day according to your goal. And I'll say this again, investigating more. Which foods are great sources of protein? Where in your day have you been lacking protein? Then you can fill in the gaps. How can you add in more protein? Oh, you know what? I used all mayo in that chicken salad that I made. Let me do some Greek yogurt and some mayo instead, so that has extra protein in it. And I'll add more chicken in there too. These type of things will really, really be helpful for you.